What's up, Star Wars nerds, and welcome to another episode of Brett on Fett. On today's episode, I got a mystery find for the Black Series that I picked up at a local Walmart, and I need your help in determining what the heck this figure is. Also, the first wave of TVC for 2023 has been showing up in homes here in the US, and I've got 3 more figures from that wave to share, so let's get to it. Welcome back to the channel. This is episode 49 of Brett on Fett. And before I get to our main topic about the big mystery Black Series find, I did want to share 3 more figures from that brand new wave for TVC that has started showing up. Now, I pre-ordered all my figures from that wave individually. And if you're watching my channel a few weeks ago, the artillery stormtrooper arrived first. Well, recently I got 3 more, including the calkestis, the klatooinianraider, and the Luke Skywalker. So let's take a look at those 3 figures from this new wave. Let's start with calkestis. Great looking card back. Of course, it's an artistic rendition since this is from a video game, which I'm totally fine with. And you can see he's got his little droid there, ED. And there's a figure. I've got another one coming later, but so far I just had the one, so I'm not going to be taking this one out. But the droid is really cool. I like that, and I think he does have some articulation. Figure looks good. He looks really good. Got a little bit of that 5 o'clock shadow on his face there. Looks pretty good. Got some paint apps on the pistol, so that's good. And then I do really like Cal's saber. It's one of my favorite lightsaber designs in Star Wars, actually. So you got the lit and then unlit. So I think this is a solid figure. Let's take a look at the back. It is VC 265, and there is the rest of the wave. So the only 2 I'm waiting on is Cassian and Vel. All right, so there's Cal. Good to have him in TVC finally. Next, let's look at the clatooinianraider. This is somewhat of a re-release. He came included with the Raider ATST, but he was not carded. And I believe the paint apps are slightly different. If you go check out Boss Bounty's review of this one, he'll compare the original to the new one. It is a slight different paint job, but what I love about this one the most is the card back. This thing is rad. I love that image of the ATST with the red glowing lights and the spotlight, and you can see you've got some of those raiders down there below, sparks flying. It is on the dark side because obviously this scene was at night, and you know, if you watched one of my early videos from last year on the best and worst card backs in TVC, I gave my criteria for good card backs and criteria for bad, and one of the criteria for bad card backs was being way too dark. And so this does break that rule. It's pretty dark, but it has to be to get that image, and I think this is an exception when you have a dark image in this kind of situation where it had to be at night. So, and we'll see, we get the same thing on the new Luke in a second. So it is dark, but it's still extremely cool. I really love the choice they went with showing the ATST on here. Very awesome. And the figure's really good. He looks really good. Very good mold. Lots going on here. So happy to get this guy. You can see it's VC 266. There's that same wave on the back. But man, just such an awesome card back. Very happy with the card back on this one. And then last but not least, we got Luke Skywalker, Imperial Light Cruiser. Very dodgy name there with Imperial Light Cruiser. I don't know why they couldn't just say Luke Skywalker Rescue Mission or the Rescue or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, so that is a bit of an odd choice. But again, super awesome card back. And it is dark, just like the Raider. It goes against my rules, but you know, this is the image I wanted. So I definitely wanted this image of him coming out with his saber ignited. Very cool. Love that image of him. You can just barely see his face. And it looks good, man. Really cool card back as well. And here's a look at the figure, and I did get an extra one already for this guy, so we will look at him loose in just a second. And looking on the back, it's VC 264, and there's the wave. All right, so let's take a look at him loose. Here he is. See, I've got him kind of in the pose on the card back, and that's one of my thing. You know, I'm kind of new at being an opener just since last year, but one thing I like to see in loose figures is that their articulation allows you to put him in the same pose that he or she's represented on the card back image. And this one does it with no problem because of the hinge wrists. So you got, I'm so bad at this, guys, apologize. You really got to watch Boss Bounty for figure reviews like this. I don't go into a whole lot of detail with my reviews, but he does have hinge wrist that can twist also. And so he can bend his wrist so that you can get that, you can just about get it just like on the image there. But man, just a good looking figure. Let's start with the head sculpt. They've struggled with Mark Hamill's face over the years, but I think they nailed this. I mean, that looks, to me, about as good as you can get for Mark Hamill. And the hair looks good. You got all the waves in the hair. So I'm very impressed with this head sculpt. And you got this kind of soft plastic there for his like robes. But then what I like is underneath the soft plastic, you do have cloth material there underneath. So that's cool. I like how they did that. The robe is very nice. I like how they did the robe. So the cloth goods are great. I mean, this is a really good figure. I'm not the best person to review articulation since I'm so new to being having loose figures. So I was an inbox collector for so long. But to me, it does everything you could need it to do. So I don't see any issues with the articulation. You've got hinge ankles there that are rocker actually. So you do have rocker ankles. So that's always a good thing. Hinges at the thighs, hinges at the knees, and then swivel hips there. So I heard things about swivel hips aren't desirable. That's like old. I don't really know what the issue is with that. I'm sure Boss Bounty will tell you, but I'm okay with the swivel hips like that. And it's got hinge joints there at the hips. So, you know, to me, it's fine. I'm not the best person to talk about articulation, but I'm more about how it looks. And I think this figure looks awesome. So very excited to have this guy go up against my Dark Trooper finally. So very happy with the Luke Skywalker. Overall, this has been a pretty good wave. I still think my Artillery Stormtrooper is probably my favorite in this wave. But I still got Cassian and Vel to show up in the mail. So I'll give my thoughts on those guys another day. All right, so last night, Friday night, after a hard day's work, I was on my way home and decided to stop at this local Walmart that's about halfway between my work and my home. And I noticed 3 Obi-Wan-Kenobi Phase 2 Purge Troopers that looked a little funny to me. And I lined them up and I looked at it, and then it looked like at the time that someone had just bought them, stripped them of their accessories, their red pauldrons, their commas, the man skirt things, taken that all off, stripped them down, put them back in the package and returned them. That's all I was thinking, and I didn't think much of it. I was kind of tired, wasn't really paying much attention. Snapped a shot of it because I just thought it was interesting and put it on my IG page, and went home and didn't think too much of it. Well, later on that evening, I got a message from one of my followers, a guy named Ryan, who brought it to my attention that these are not the Purge Troopers at all. And I looked at my own photo again more closely, and I was like, oh my god, I'm such an idiot. How did I not notice this in the store? These are nothing like the Purge Troopers. This is a totally different sculpt, just like a regular stormtrooper, but more like a shadow trooper. And immediately started looking online at different Black Series figures, looking at my own Black Series figures, trying to figure out what the heck this thing is. And decided I needed to get back there to that Walmart first thing in the morning, which was this morning on Saturday, to see if they're still there and pick them up. And that guy Ryan, who's one of my subscribers, he asked me to go ahead and pick one up for him to ship to him, which I was more than happy to do since he was the one that brought to my attention what I had missed on these figures. So got back there this morning and went ahead and recorded the experience. So let's take a look at the video from this morning. Oh, and by the way, if you follow me on Instagram, I did also post a quick live Instagram video at the store showing off the finds. So, mission success, I picked up 2 of those 3 troopers, left the 3rd one there, talked the manager into a small discount because they were so badly beat up, and I showed her that clearly some of the accessories had been stripped, and got home. So, now it's time to check out the packaging on these bad boys to see what evidence of tampering there is, and then we're going to go ahead and get one of them open, the one I'm going to keep, and take a closer look at the figure, and let's compare them to some other troopers that I have on hand. Alright guys, so here is these mystery shadow trooper things I just picked up from Walmart this morning, and as you can see, these boxes are rough. So anyways, let's take a look at the packaging to see what's going on. So on the bottom, see, it's got that factory sealed tape, and as far as I can tell, they didn't break this and redo it. I don't see any residue or anything. Now this has been busted out. This is real rough, but that just looks like damaging, just regular damage, not, I mean, obviously you're not getting into the figure through there. So nothing too suspicious with the tape on that end. On this end, you know, maybe, I don't know if any of you guys are experts at stuff that's been resealed. This one looks a little suspicious, like it was maybe peeled off and put back, but there's no litho tears or anything on that end. And same thing, I just don't see any residue or tears, so it seems a little odd to me if someone opened this and then taped it back. And it's like, why would they bother doing such a good job of that when it's just so beat up? So I don't know, maybe here you can't get into these things from the side, can you? Maybe you can. Maybe but I don't know. You see here, see the tape? I mean, could have been reapplied. You see some lift there, so I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. It just doesn't seem, at least it's not obvious that someone taped it back. On this one's, let's see, look at the bottom. Same thing. Oh, this one looks a little worse. So this one looks like the tape could have been messed with and reapplied. Okay, so maybe not as good a job on this one if they did open it and reseal it. That could have been put back in the same exact spot. But there's just no sign of any litho tears from removing the tape here. So I don't know. Most likely I'd say, yeah, somebody opened this and put it back. But let me know what you think about that part of it. Looking at the top, just don't know. You see all these tears, like it's like somebody was definitely messing with this thing, but to me it's not completely obvious that they retaped it. This one does look worse than the other though, I think. I don't know, as far as tampering. So, yeah, but this box is just really beat up. Okay, well, let's get this one open. I'm gonna open this one and set the other one aside. All right, let's open this bad boy. Let's look at this thing. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a little more wrinkly than normal, I'd say. It definitely looks, to me, it looks like someone reapplied it. This tape is loose for the gun. So this does seem like someone's tampered with it to me. So looking at this thing, wow, the head is super tight. There's the helmet. If they custom painted this thing, they did a really good job. It's not sloppy. Okay, just wanted to adjust my cameras and get a better view of the figures out of the package. So yeah, just looking at this thing, this is the blaster that came with, and just to refresh your memory, this is the Purge Trooper that was supposed to come in that packaging. This is the regular Phase 2 armor Purge Trooper from the Obi-Wan-Kenobi series. And if you look at the bodies, there is a difference there. You don't have that little device on his mid-chest there. Tell you what, let me take his, hold on, let me take his gun out here. This is not helpful. First off, the blaster, of course, is totally different. You know, we can see the two blasters. This is more of a standard stormtrooper. What is it, E11, I believe? I don't know, I always forget the weapon name, sorry. I think it's E11. Okay, so totally different blaster. And then the body is different. It's a different belt. It's slightly different. You know, unless this is like, could this be the body of the original Purge Trooper that was released as part of the Gaming Greats line in the black and red box? I don't think so. But could it be the body of that? I just don't know. They both have the pauldron. See, the pauldron mold is different. So, I mean, this is a completely different Stormtrooper from the Purge. So, I don't think there's a single piece of this that's the same, really, at all. You can see at the knees, everything is different, okay? So definitely not from the Purge Trooper. Let's put him aside. Now, the second thing that came to mind when I realized this is different was, could it have been the Elite Squad Trooper? This is the Elite Squad Trooper. Here's the packaging. This is the Bad Batch Elite Squad Trooper. So I was like, well, maybe it's this, but it's not. I mean, first of all, the paint is totally different. Totally different body. Similar belt. Just, different legs. Even at the knees, that is different. So the differences are subtle, but and see, you got pins. You got a pin here. It's a joint. So definitely not the Elite Squad Trooper. So this guy's out. Now what I don't have is I don't have the original Shadow Trooper from the Shadow Squadron set, that 2-pack that came with a regular Shadow Trooper and then a Shadow Scout Trooper. Awesome set. I don't have that. So I was wondering if it came from that, but when I looked at all the images I can find online of that, it doesn't look like this one at all. I mean, it's close, but it's just, to me, it's not the same figure. But let me know if you guys think I'm wrong and this is that Shadow Trooper. It would be odd if someone had 3 of those and replaced them all with these Purge Troopers. So it's so strange. Let me grab a regular Stormtrooper. Well, let me grab the Jedi Patrol Trooper. So here's the Jedi Patrol Trooper, which uses the, the new Stormtrooper body, basically. And, well, let's take this weapon off here, but it's just, I'm trying to see if it's using that mold, but no, I don't. It's not the same mold. I think this is, yeah, no, totally different. So I think this is a, this could be a clone trooper, an old clone trooper mold. You guys probably know that I'm not a huge Black Series collector compared to TVC, so I don't have a whole lot of Black Series. I've got like 70 or 80 figures, but I don't have like a lot of the old clone stuff. So I don't have it in hand to be able to compare. So I'm gonna have to do some research online with photos. Let's take this guy away.
Alright guys, I realized after my initial recording of this video that I completely forgot to go over the articulation of this figure, and it's really important because it may shed some light on where this figure comes from. I mentioned earlier it's got pin joints, and look at the flexibility on at the elbows. It is terrible. You can't even get 45 degrees. You can't get close to 45. Ball joints at the shoulders, really bad. The head is extremely tight. No articulation at the waist at all. Very limited motion at the hips, the thigh area. Decent articulation at the knees, but then zero articulation at the ankles. So to me, this screams old figure circa 2013, 2014, 2015 maybe, or just a complete bootleg knockoff. And also real quick, I just wanted to show the branding at the bottom of the feet. On the right foot, you have Hasbro SA, made in China, C-001D. And on the left foot, you have a copyright symbol, ampersand TMLFL number A7529. So just in case that helps solve the mystery. All right, back to the video.
So as far as stuff that I own in hand, there's nothing that compares to what this is. And so I'm wondering if this is some kind of old clone trooper body, and they've put a head of a stormtrooper on there, an older stormtrooper head, and maybe painted it. But why would there be 3 of these and the paint looks flawless? At least like the eyes and stuff, the chrome. So I don't know, guys. This is a mystery to me, but some of you like hardcore Black Series collectors out there, I'm hoping you guys will know immediately what I'm looking at. All right, guys, so let me know what you think about this interesting, possibly bootleg Shadow Trooper.
Alright, so that's going to do it for this episode of Brett on Fett. Let me know in the comments what you think these figures might be made of. Are they the old Shadow Trooper from the Shadow Squadron set? Are they a total bootleg? Or are they some kind of customization? And keep in mind there was 3 of them and they all look the same. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you to my subscribers. Don't forget you can also follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Take care and we'll see you next time.